immigration, dispute resolution, Ghanaian customary and family law. At BWF, our solicitors are pleased to offer high-quality legal representation at competitive rates. Our senior partner, Bernard Owusu, has over 29 years' experience as a lawyer in the UK. BWF solicitors provide independent and practical legal assistance for all kinds of family matters, such as childcare, contested and uncontested divorce, and injunctions for domestic violence. Our childcare and family team appreciate the issues facing you in this difficult time, which is why we offer confidential advice delivered in a sensitive manner. Our senior partner is an accredited member of the Law Society Family Law Accreditation Panel, which guarantees expert representation in all family and matrimonial cases. Are you seeking advice on immigration-related matters? At BWF Solicitors, our immigration team are experts in dealing with everything from general immigration to complex immigration work permits, arranging student visas, as well as entry clearance visas, family visas, and appeals. Our senior partner is an accredited member of the Law Society Immigration Accreditation Panel, which guarantees expert representation. Our office is open from 9:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday to Friday, and on Saturdays by appointment only from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. We are located at 4th floor Anna House, 214 to 218 Tottenham High Road, London, N15 4NP, just a short walk from Seven Sisters Underground. Our senior partner, Bernard Owusu, is also a qualified barrister and a member of the Ghana Bar Association. He has acted as an expert in court cases involving aspects of Ghanaian law. He has also advised local authorities, the official solicitor's office, and other solicitors on the intricacies of Ghanaian law, and is a regular contributor on the radio and TV on matters concerning Ghanaian law.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are watching us. You are welcome to today's show, Hanging Out with BWF Solicitors. I hope you are all keeping well. Today we're going to talk about how does one satisfy the court to proceed with the divorce if the other side cannot be found. And with me, as usual, is Mrs. Eunice Achampong. She's a solicitor at BWF Solicitors and also a partner at BWF Solicitors. She'll be taking us through this topic. If you have any questions or want to contribute to today's program, you can do so on all our social media handles, especially Facebook and YouTube. We would love to hear from you. If you prefer calling us live in the studio, of course, you can do so on 0744 8619 711. The number again is 0744 8619 711. One might be asking, themselves in this particular situation. When can a person really apply for a divorce? You may also be asking yourself, on what basis can a person apply to the court if they believe their marriage has ended? All this and more will be answered on today's program. I wouldn't like to waste my time. I would like to introduce Lawyer Eunice. Hello, Lawyer Eunice.
Hi, Vicky. How are you?
I'm good. And you?
I'm doing well by God's grace. And I see that you're in red, so you're already following the season.
I'm for the season. Yes.
The season's red, so people are actually looking forward to the Christmas. You go out and people are already decorating and their lights are all
Yeah.
out and everything. So it's
But
good.
I
It's
think
nice.
there's a little bit of panic because of this new variant that is in the air. So people are not sure whether, because I understand
Sure.
Boris is saying from next week, he's advising people to work from home if you can. So
Can't.
everybody's
Yes.
thinking, no, during
Are
the
we gonna have
Christmas.
a proper Christmas?
Exactly. Because with myself, around the Christmas period, I've received so many invitations. So I'm really skeptical, thinking, is it, am I safe to really attend these functions?
These functions. That's very true. And of course,
Yeah.
I know that a lot of people have now gotten used to not wearing masks, and now we have to start
Yes.
wearing
Yes,
the
we have to
mask
go back
again
to it.
because it's now obligatory to wear it
Mm.
even on public transport and
Yeah.
in the shops and
Yeah.
in most public spaces. So
Mm.
of course we want to try and protect each other and protect
Yeah.
ourselves as
Mm.
well. I mean, this
Yeah.
is what we call the flu season. So
Yes.
people are more vulnerable at this time, and you want to make sure that you are keeping yourself safe, your family safe, and other
Safe.
people
Yeah.
safe as well. But of
Mm.
course, we want to make sure that those that are close to us are well. So,
Yes.
regardless of what announcement comes next week for people to obviously work from home, we
Yeah.
will still make sure that we are keeping ourselves safe and we are actually being vaccinated, because we always hear in the news that people who refuse to be vaccinated eventually get it, and then when they get it, it's something serious. So we want to also make sure that people are better educated about what the vaccine is all about,
Yeah.
and then also get vaccinated as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I
Yeah.
think the government is trying as much as possible to stay on the right track so that
Of course. Of
it
course.
lessens the burden on the NHS as well.
Yeah. Yeah. That's very great advice. Thank you so much, Lawyer Eunice. Lawyer Eunice, before we discuss today's topic, any updates for the week?
Yes, so just going on this, in terms of
Mm.
our COVID restrictions that are in place, when we are traveling, we have to also make sure that we are adhering to the government's red list
Right, right.
countries as well. Because, of course, if you are going to travel and let's say 1 week from the time that you get to your destination, the country that you're in is now listed as a red list country, that would
Yeah.
mean that when you return or before you return, you would have had to book a place at the hotel, which is the designated hotel where you should self isolate. And obviously, it will be at your own cost, and you'll be isolating for a period of 10 days before you are free to do what you would normally do. And so, of
Okay.
course, it's important that we adhere to the government's guidelines in regards to travel. We
Yeah.
also have to make sure that as much as possible that we are also adhering to the country where you're going to, their restrictions or their guidelines. And so just yesterday there was this announcement that in Ghana, when you come, if you haven't been vaccinated, then you would
Mhm.
have to be fully vaccinated before you're allowed to enter the country. So
Wow.
vaccination again. And so it's important that you are protecting yourself and protecting others as well. And I
Wow.
think the West is trying to send these vaccinations to the developing countries so that at least the Omicron variants that they're talking about would not spread as widely as they say is spreading. And so hopefully, if they are able to do more of their vaccinations in the
Yeah.
developing countries, that will obviously help reduce the risk. We're not saying that somebody who is vaccinated may never get it, but it will
Yeah.
reduce the risk of them being seriously ill and then infecting other people as well. So yes, those are things to do with the COVID restrictions at the moment. And then
Yeah.
more and more people keep asking about the fact that if they are EU nationals, can they still travel to the UK as they
Yes.
would normally do? And
Mm,
that is a question that keeps coming up all the time. And so when it comes to EU nationals who want to come to the UK, unfortunately, you can only come on a visit, and you will need to show evidence at the airport or at the border, wherever you will be coming from, that
yep.
you are only coming on a 6-month visit and you will return on your on your dates that you have put down to return. So if you want to come and live and work in the UK, you will have to work, or you would have to say that you are coming to study. So you would need a
Right.
skilled worker visa or a temporary worker visa or a student visa to be able to come and live here in the UK if you're an EU national. So regardless of the fact that you are an EU national, unfortunately, the UK is no longer part of the EU. And
Oh,
therefore, from the 1st of January, or should I say from the 31st of December
December.
2020, as soon as 11 p.m. struck, that is when free movement ended. And so if you came at 11:01 or 12 p.m., unfortunately, you would not be able to apply onto the EU settlement scheme. And therefore, it's necessary to know that you have to apply for a visa to come
Mm,
and work or study or live in the UK, and it is
okay.
not automatic like it was before. So it's important that we adhere to the fact that these guidelines are in place so that we can also better advise our family members who are thinking about coming to live in the UK, because you
Okay.
will always have these people calling and people asking for advice whether it's still possible to come. But unfortunately, it is no longer possible. So if you have any family members who are still thinking of coming, please advise them they can only come on a visit. And it's important to show that they are coming on only a visit and they would return once their visit is over. So that's what we
Okay.
have in terms of our updates.
Okay. But Lawyer Eunice, talking about this new latest development of the variant,
Mm,
you anticipate, if not even end of this year or end of this month,
mm,
that some countries will be on the red list regarding, I mean, restricting travel. People want to go visit family
mm.
for the Christmas holiday or maybe the New Year.
Well, in terms of the variant, they say it originated from South Africa, as it says in the news. And
Mm,
so it's spreading widely, mostly through the southern countries in Africa and then the eastern countries. And earlier during the week, we heard that Nigeria was now on the red list as well.
okay.
So, of course, when it comes to the African countries, it may be that they would refuse certain
Right.
countries from
Mm,
entering. And of course, if like we see Nigeria now on the red list, if that if people have traveled to Nigeria, for instance, and they are residents in the UK, they
yeah.
would obviously be thinking of paying for some extra
Yes.
accommodation and also their leave as well. So it's one of those things where you have to also have all of this in mind, where whether it be the fact that you are only going for a short period of time and the
Mm,
cost
mm,
involved as well, because obviously it is spreading and is similar to flu. You will not be able
yeah.
to
Yeah. Mm,
easily tell that you
mm.
have coronavirus, because you may think that you just have a normal flu
Normal
and
flu. You're
that's
right.
that.
Mm,
But of course, in terms of the fact that a country could be put on the red list, it's dependent on how protected people are and what people are doing in terms of their vaccination, in terms of restricting the movement of people. It could also be the fact that it might be them shutting their borders completely to any travel. But I mean, let's watch and see. I'm
Okay.
not particularly concerned that borders will be closed, because most of these countries anyway also need the economy to keep going because of the fact that we've had a whole year of interruptions and restrictions, and people
Mm,
do
mm,
not want
yeah,
what happened last year. They don't want to
exactly. Yeah.
be isolated the way
Mm,
they were last
mm,
year. So
okay.
let's hope that the West will keep doing what
Mm,
it's doing
yeah.
to provide
Mm,
vaccinations to the rest of the developing world, and then we will see how it goes from there.
great, 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 great. Right, Lawyer Eunice. Today's topic about divorce. Now, I'm
Yeah.
asking myself, why is Lawyer Eunice talking about divorce at this time of the year? Usually, I know the topic divorce comes up first first week of January or within the January month. So, I'm wondering and I'm asking myself, are you getting a lot of divorce applications, and hence your reason for this topic?
So actually, it's because of the fact that sometimes you have people who are inquiring about the fact that they haven't been able to um, basically collect enough details to know the whereabouts of their partner. So
Yeah,
maybe it is an email, or maybe they have a telephone number, but they can't particularly put a finger as to where they may be living, where they may be working. And if that is the case, what can they do in that scenario? And how can they overcome that problem? Because, of course, if you want a divorce, it takes two people to make a marriage. And so it definitely needs to be two people to make a divorce as well. And so
yes.
it's not one person going off and saying, well, I'm done with this marriage, and therefore,
Yeah.
whatever the case is, I'm getting a divorce. And so it's essential that we sort of know the procedures in place when it comes to divorce in England and Wales. So this is
Right.
particularly for people who want to apply for divorce in England and Wales. And like you said,
Mm.
obviously, we don't want the Christmas festivities to bring about breakdowns in marriages. And
Yeah.
when I was in law school, they said the one particular issue that brings about most divorce is money. And I said to myself, there's a lot of people struggling with money and finances.
Money.
And I
Yeah.
don't know if you've seen that NatWest advert where they did uh, a scenario on different couples, and they asked them about their finances, and it's just like everybody was quiet. They were with their other halves, and when
Mm.
it came to their finances, they just sort of nodded. They didn't say a word. And it's sort of like that when it comes to most marriages, whether you know
Mm.
your partner's income and the
Thinking
finances
on,
and
yeah.
everything
Yeah.
that
Mm.
go in and out. It's one of those things that is skeptical, but when there's
Mm.
transparency, it helps a whole lot better, so that at least the marriage is as transparent and honest and open as possible.
That's
Yeah,
possible.
yes.
Oh, okay. All right. So, Laura Eunice, on what basis can a person apply for a divorce?
So when you look at our law in terms of marriages and divorces, so this is our um, Matrimonial Causes Act of 1973. So before that law came into place, it had to do with the fact that maybe there was some form of adultery, and maybe the other person had done something so wrong that it was um, not going to be possible for the marriage to continue.
Cool.
But when our Matrimonial Causes Act came into play, it gave both couples the right to now apply for a marriage to be ended, such that if any of the couple believed that the marriage had broken down irretrievably, then they could go ahead and apply. So when we say a marriage has broken down irretrievably, it means that, of course, the marriage has broken down to the point that nothing can be done about it, and you cannot possibly be asked to remain in a relationship or in a marriage with the other person. So, of course, this gave women and men a right to end their marriages if there had been some form of unreasonable behavior, or there was adultery, or there was 2 year separation, or there had been 5 year separation, or desertion. So, desertion means that the person has basically abandoned you and you don't even know where the person is. And so the main basis now was the irretrievable breakdown of the marriage, and therefore it is still the basis by which, of course, most divorces are still um, made. Most divorces are now made on that basis, that because the marriage has broken down irretrievably, there is no way that they will be able to continue. And it's important to know that in terms of procedures, yes, you have to be able to show that there has been an irretrievable breakdown of the marriage, but any lawyer or legal advisor should be able to advise you to also seek mediation before applying to the courts for divorce. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. Right. Ladies and gentlemen, if you've just joined us, this is Hanging Out with BWF Solicitors. And today's topic is, how do I satisfy the court to proceed with my divorce if the other side cannot be found? We would like to hear from you. If you have any questions or you have any comments, you can do so on our social media handles, especially Facebook and YouTube, where we are transmitting live. If you prefer to contact us live, in the studio, you can do so on 0744 8619 711. Right. So, Lawyer Eunice, when is it that a person can apply for a divorce?
So usually, if you have been married to this person for a
Mhm.
period of 12 months, so part of our Matrimonial and Family Proceedings Act says that if you can show to the court that your marriage has lasted for a period of 12
Mhm.
months, then you can go ahead and apply for a divorce. So
Okay.
sometimes you will have that if, for instance, you've been married to a person and both of you didn't expect the marriage to be the way that you've started it off,
Let's set it
and
off.
you're
Yeah.
both feeling, well, this is not what I wanted, and that other person is feeling, this is not what I wanted, then most of the time you will have people saying they want an end even a few months into the marriage. And of course, we are not advocating for people to end their marriages early, because just like any relationships, there will always be in England and Wales, when you are applying for a divorce, they want to make sure that you have at least tried giving each other a chance, so that at least if a year
Mm-hmm.
you cannot continue in the marriage, then the courts will then allow you to apply for a divorce. So if it's
Okay.
12 months you have been married to this person, it's possible that you can basically say to the court you would like an application to divorce this person.
Okay. Right. But Lawyer Eunice, what if one party is not willing to walk out of the marriage?
So that's also another question. When it
Mm,
comes to marriage breakdowns, a lot of the time, like I said, it doesn't just take one person to make a marriage. So
yes.
it takes two people to also break up. So where
Mm-hmm.
there is this scenario that a person is saying to the other person, I don't really want our marriage, and therefore I am not going to allow this divorce to go through. then the option that you have to apply the courts, and you will say to, well, this is not willing to acknowledge that our marriage has ended. And I want you to look at what they have in terms of maybe the being unreasonable in their behavior. So when it comes to marriage, so
Lioness. Lioness.
Yes.
Lioness,
Can you
you are
hear
breaking
me?
up. You are breaking up. So I think we will, let's quickly have a short commercial break and we'll be right back.
Okay.
Based in London, we are a dynamic award-winning firm specializing in a range of legal services, including family law, matrimonial law, immigration, dispute resolution, Ghanaian customary and family law. At BWF, our solicitors are pleased to offer high-quality legal representation at competitive rates. Our senior partner, Bernardo Wusu, has over 29 years' experience as a lawyer in the UK. BWF solicitors provide independent and practical legal assistance for all kinds of family matters, such as childcare, contested and uncontested divorce, and injunctions for domestic violence. Our childcare and family team appreciate the issues facing you in this difficult time, which is why we offer confidential advice delivered in a sensitive manner. Our senior partner is an accredited member of the Law Society Family Law Accreditation Panel, which guarantees expert representation in all family and matrimonial cases. Are you seeking advice on immigration-related matters? At BWF Solicitors, our immigration team are experts in dealing with everything from general immigration to complex immigration work permits, arranging student visas, as well as entry clearance visas, family visas, and appeals. Our senior partner is an accredited member of the Law Society Immigration Accreditation Panel, which guarantees expert representation. Our office is open from 9:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday to Friday, and on Saturdays by appointment only from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. We are located at 4th floor Anna House, 214 to 218 Tottenham High Road, London, N15 4NP, just a short walk from Seven Sisters Underground. Our senior partner, Bernardo Wusu, is also a qualified barrister and a member of the Ghana Bar Association. He has acted as an expert in court cases involving aspects of Ghanaian law. He has also advised local authorities, the official solicitor's office, and other solicitors on the intricacies of Ghanaian law, and is a regular contributor on the radio and TV on matters concerning Ghanaian law.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. If you've just joined us, this is Hanging Out with BWF Solicitors. BWF Solicitors is your number one solicitor firm in the UK. They deal in immigration and nationality, Ghana law and practice, family law, and dispute resolution. If you need any help or support, or you need any advice regarding anything, in relation to immigration, Ghana law and practice, family law and dispute resolution, look no further. Get in touch with BWF Solicitors. Their contact details will be given to you at the end of this program. And before we went for the commercial break, we were talking about the instance where one partner is not willing to walk out of the divorce. Lawyer Eunice, welcome back.
I hope you can hear me better.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, so let's continue from where we left off.
Yes. Okay, so I was saying that in terms of the party who is applying for the divorce, of course, when you apply and then the other party has not acknowledged to the court that they are willing for the divorce for the marriage to be ended, usually it will be for the party applying for the divorce to then ask for the court to hear their case. And so usually what happens is that they will have to address the reasons why they are applying for
Yeah.
divorce, and some of the facts that instilled that person to apply for the divorce will include things like unreasonable behavior. So maybe that person has said to the other person, well, in terms of our finances, I don't think that I will be paying A, B, and C for the children. I do not want us to have any dealings together as a couple or whatever. And if you are telling the other party, well, my money is my money and your money is your money, that sort of thing can bring about arguments. So that could be an example of an unreasonable behavior. And then when it comes to adultery as well, if you don't have the other party consenting to the fact that there has been adultery, you could also say that it is also unreasonable behavior, because if this person has basically said to you they are unwilling to have a divorce, but they are willing to have other women or have other men in the relationship, and they are telling you, well, I cannot have you divorce me, but I am willing to go out there and have an affair within our marriage, that could also be seen as unreasonable behavior, because the person is not willing to let go and is also not willing to admit to adultery as well. I mean, the other factors speak for themselves when it comes to separation. So if there has been 2 year separation or 5 year separation, of course,
Yeah.
if you are not doing anything together as a couple, then that would mean that um, that that relationship has sort of broken down even before you apply to the court for a divorce. So it is then for the court to look at the evidence that you have presented in regards to the factors that you are basing this divorce application on. And of course, if the other person is being unreasonable, which has we have seen has brought about this divorce bill that we now have coming into play, because this is a real life example of uh, two people who um, unfortunately have not been getting along for a very long time, and um, the party that applied for the divorce is saying so because they have been separated for a very long time. And for the couple, it's one of those situations where I always feel that if a woman is making an application for a divorce and the man is unwilling, he will make it very difficult for the woman to then go ahead and ask for a divorce, because of the fact that there may be financial settlements in play as well. So, if, for instance, the other party has made a lot of money and they are thinking, I don't want all of my money or part of my money to be given out to this person because of a divorce, then I'm going to make it as hard as possible so that they too would not have anything to do with the financial assets that I have. So, of course, it will be for the courts to obviously take all of this into play. And when it comes to ancillary relief, which is another topic, which is all to do with financial assets that a couple may have, the courts will have to look at that separately to the basis for which a person will want a divorce. And those are cases where it is contested. So, wherever there is a contested divorce, it will always be for the courts to assess the evidence and the reasons why a party would want a divorce before, obviously, um, a decree nisi could be issued. So it's one of those situations where you would definitely want to seek legal advice, and you would definitely need a legal advisor to be able to take the case forward, because it's one of those long procedures where you would not be able to go on without the support of a legal advisor.
Oh, okay. All right. So, Lawyer Eunice, where the person, let's say the wife applying for the divorce, cannot find the husband, how can they persuade the court to continue with their divorce?
So, if, for instance, let's say that a person who has applied to stay in the country, so they came on the basis that they were coming to live with their spouse, and now they have come and they're living together as husband and wife, but for one reason or the other person is saying to them, we don't want this marriage, we are fed up, and uh, as much as we want to continue, we can no longer continue in this marriage, and so I am leaving, and I do not want to stay in this marriage any longer. It could be the person who has come into the country as a spouse, or it could be the person who is a British person or a settled
Mm,
person here in the UK. And it happens quite often. And the other person decides to leave, and of course you don't know where the other person has left to. And so in applying for a divorce, one of the things that they require is the respondent's details or the other party's details. So they will ask for things like the name, the date of birth, the address, their occupation,
mm,
those sort of basic details. But if you don't have their information apart from their name, then
yeah.
of course the court is thinking, were you not married to this person? Because it will only be in very rare situations where you may not have the basic details of the other person. So, of course, you should be able to provide the most basic details like the name and the dates of birth and the kind of work that the person was doing when you are making such an application. But
Mhm.
where, of course, you are saying to the courts that you can't provide them with things like his basic details and an address, because what happens is that most of the time when we do have a divorce proceeding, the court also has to send a copy of the petition to the respondent to let them know that you are bringing divorce proceedings against them, and this is the basis for which you are bringing the divorce proceedings, and therefore they need the other party to be served properly with the divorce proceedings so that they are aware. And of course, they send a form, which is an acknowledgement of service form, for
Okay.
them to also fill in that they agree to whatever has been stated on the divorce petition, or they do not agree, and they will have to sign at the end. So,
Okay.
if it is the case that this acknowledgement of service is never returned to the court, then it would mean that, of course, either the person is not in agreement with the divorce, or
Divorce. Yeah.
the details of the other party um, were not given properly. And so, what happens in such a case is that you can either address the court and say to the court, do you know what? Maybe I know a family member who may know where he is. So, I would like a sealed copy of the divorce petition. I would also want the acknowledgement of service to be included, and I will serve it on the other party or the respondent by way of a court bailiff. So most people would know who a court bailiff is. Those are the people that usually come and collect money if you are owing monies to anybody. So that is a court bailiff. And then you have process service. So process service usually would take the duty upon themselves to serve the other party with anything to do with the divorce, and not just
Mm,
divorces, but even in child arrangement order cases, or even non-molestation cases or occupation order cases, they do serve the other party as well. And one good thing is that they also would draft something that they call an affidavit. So the affidavit of service will state that they have gone ahead to serve this person, or they have
Mm,
gone ahead to try and trace where this person is. So if you have, for instance, a photograph of this person or a name and date of birth for this person, they will try and trace where this person is, if they are
mhm,
still in England and Wales. And if they do trace where this person is, they will try and also serve this person with the documents. And so once it's been served, then they will go ahead to draft this affidavit of service to say that, well, we served this person and it was not returned back to us. And of course, we believe that that person has received the said petition and acknowledgement. So that is another way of doing it. But if you are saying, we have tried head and tail, we cannot find this person, and of course we have made our searches, and so of course I mentioned that process service can try and trace where this person is, but
mhm,
then you can also give further information to the solicitor dealing with the matter. So if you knew where they were working, you could give the company's details to the solicitor. And if you have their NI, for example, that will help in trying to search with HMRC if they still have this person's contact details. Or if, for instance, they had a GP surgery they were registered to, you could give the details of the GP surgery or account details. And if there are family members that you know of, then of course you could also do a substituted service where you have process service or any eligible person try and serve it on the respondent on your behalf. So of course, if you are giving it to the relatives, they will then have to pass it on to the respondent on your behalf because that relative probably is living with the respondent. So yes, it's one of those cases where you have to make sure that you have done the groundwork, you have tried to find this person, and if your efforts have come to naught, then it means that you would then have to provide the court with evidence that you have done all that you can to
mm,
try and find the whereabouts of this person. But
mm,
unfortunately, because you have not been able to get any contact details for this person, but you have made searches with all the relevant companies or institutions that you think will have the contact details of this person, their responses are that they cannot help in this instance, or they
mm,
have not been able to trace this person, and therefore you are now making the application for the court to dispense with service because you
yeah,
cannot find this person. But it's also important to know that if your search is not wide, there are some strict judges and they will come back to you and say, well, you haven't tried this, or you haven't tried that, or you haven't tried this and that and that. And so it's important that your search is as wide as possible so that you are able to then conclusively say that, well, you have tried process service, you have tried companies or institutions that you
mm,
would be connected to, but unfortunately, none of them have been responsive, and therefore you are now applying to the court to dispense with service. So that means that they don't have to receive an acknowledgement from the respondent to be able to proceed with the divorce. So it's important that all those searches and investigations are done before you can even proceed with the divorce. Yes.
okay. All right. Laura Eunice, I've got Cooksey who sent me this question. She says, good afternoon, wonderful show. She said, I've been married since January 2021, and now my husband and I are no longer together. I want a divorce. I do not know where he lives now, and I only have his mobile number. I can get you a copy of our marriage certificate, his name, his date of birth, and NI number, which means national insurance number. Is there anything else I will need for the searches to be carried out? Why, Eunice?
Okay, so of course, this is a typical example of somebody who is not sure where the other person lives. It's important that, of course, we also look at the time that she says she's been married, because she says she's
Yeah.
been married since January of this year. And as I was saying before, you cannot apply for a divorce until you have been married for at least 12 months. So in this case, it gives us an opportunity to carry out our searches, because
Mhm.
you need to be able to do your searches even before you apply for the divorce, because once you have done your searches and um, everything has come back, or the responses have come back to say that, well, we cannot find this person, then you know that when you make your application for divorce, you'll be stating that this person's details are unknown, and therefore the court will be aware that you will be making efforts to try and find wherever this person is. But if it is the case that um, this person is not found, then you will have to make sure that you respond to the court with the evidence that they have been unresponsive, so that they can go ahead and grant a divorce. She says she has a telephone number, so that in a way is useful information, because
Okay.
once you have a telephone number, it helps in terms of identifying where this person is. So sometimes it might be that people change their DP, their WhatsApp status
Yeah.
very often. So that can also be an indication. Um, if they also have other social media pages like Facebook and
Yeah.
other social media platforms, that could be a useful way of also saying that, well, this person, I'm not exactly sure, but this is what I have seen of them on Facebook or wherever. Because one thing that these tracing companies do is that they also check social media platforms to be able
Right.
to
Okay.
get some information
Mm.
regarding the respondent as well. So any information that you have can be useful as well. So yes, the telephone number is a good one, and she says she has the NI number as well. Definitely a copy of the marriage certificate, because the court will need that in order to process a divorce application. So the only
Okay.
evidence that most courts will definitely need is the fact that you have a marriage certificate. So that's your
Okay.
main piece of evidence. And then in terms of um, the NI number, you could definitely write to HMRC as well to also say that if they do have the contact details of Mr. So and so, they can pass on your letter to that party or to that person. So there are some few things that can be done in regards to the information that she has. And sometimes it may turn out that you have more information than you realize, because sometimes people will say, I have a telephone number. Maybe I don't have anything else apart from a telephone number. But it's amazing how these tracing companies can use these informations to get something to locate wherever this person is, or to be able to tell where this person is as well. Um, in so doing, I also spoke about even a photograph. So the fact that
Mm.
you have a photograph of this person also helps, because that way they are able to trace whether this person is somewhere else. Maybe it might be that they're using a different name as well. So it helps when you have a photograph, which helps in basically trying to locate where this person may be. So if in her case she has a lot of um, the information in regards to the NI and his telephone number and things like that, then that would also help in our search. Hopefully, um, that person can be found, and if all effort comes to nothing, then of course we'll have to make a response to the court to say that we've tried looking for him, we've tried writing to these different companies, and they still have come back unresponsive.
Hmm.
And it's good to follow up. If, for instance, the company doesn't write back to you, it's good to follow up and say, we wrote to you on so and so date about this person and sending our letter to this person. If you have been unable to locate this person, can you please write back to us and let us know that you have been unable to send our letter back to this person? Because the court wants to know what efforts you have made to try and also locate this person. So it's important that you get responses back so that they know that you have made every effort to try and locate where this person may be. And
Hmm.
it also will help if you are able to provide as much information as possible so that when tracing or searching is one of the things that they need to do, then they will go ahead and then do it so that you can apply to the court later to have that um, information put to the court so that they can make their decision to go ahead with divorce proceedings.
Mm, mm. Right, ladies and gentlemen, if you've still, you've just joined us, this is hanging out with BWF solicitors. Today we've been discussing, divorce. How can one satisfy the court to proceed with the divorce if the other side cannot be found? With me is a lawyer, a solicitor, and partner of BWS Solicitors in the person of lawyer Eunice Champong, who has been taking us through the process and also answering some few questions from our viewers. I would like to hear from you. If you have any questions, please send in your question. This is a free consultation. If you have any comments as well, you can also do so on our social media platform, um, especially Facebook and YouTube at BWF Solicitors. If you prefer to contact us live in the studio on the phone, you can do so on 0744 8619 711. The number again is 0744 8619 711. Lawyer Eunice, oh dear. This guy doesn't, he wants to stay anonymous. He says, my wife and I got married about 3 years ago. Things did not work out between the two of us, and we decided to go our separate ways. I have been granted limited leave to remain under the EU settlement scheme. She took all her documents with her after the application, so I do not have information such as her date of birth, work, the work she's doing, or national insurance number. Can I get a divorce now that we have been married for 3 years? Lawyer Eunice,
Yes.
one
So
question I'm asking, why can't he remember his wife's date of birth? It's just, I'm just wondering. You've been with her for 3 years, and you
it's
don't remember
amazing
her date of birth?
the things that men can't remember. Well, let me say some men. Because we are seeing it
Oh
as
my!
3 years, but to some men, it takes them time to be able to keep things like that in mind.
Right.
So it is It is
It's
a
normal,
common,
is it? It's
well,
normal.
it's one of those common factors we have with some men, and even with their own children. Sometimes you ask them,
You
"What
are
is
right.
your
With the
child's date
children,
of
it's very common. Yeah.
what is your child's date of birth?" And
Yes. Yes.
as old as the children may be, they will still struggle with children's
Oh
date
my
of birth.
days.
So sometimes to some people it sounds like, how can you not know your own
No.
child's date of birth, or how can you not know your own wife's date of birth? But it's more common than not,
That
and I
but
don't know
probably
why.
that that might have been the cause of the divorce. Nobody knows.
Wow. Well, I don't want to say that then not be trivial, but
Oh yeah,
um
I'm only kidding.
let's hope that that was not the reason. I mean, there was one Father's Day. Somebody sent this video around where
Mhm.
it looked like a Southern American man with his 4 children and his wife, and they
Yeah.
were asking him, "What are your children's names and their dates of birth?" And he had it all wrong. And they asked his wife, and his wife said everything. And then I just said to myself, do you know what? He's not the only man. And I know quite a few men like him. And so um,
Oh
it's
dear, we'll
it's
forgive
just
them
one of
then.
those things that happens. And so I wouldn't hold it on to any man who cannot remember his wife's date of birth if for some reason they were not able to keep it in mind.
Mm.
It can be possible. It might be that they remember the year. They can remember something, but not all of
Yeah,
it.
still. They're trying to, give an excuse, but it's not working. It's not working. No.
So back to our question.
All right.
Yes. So in regards to this particular man's situation, if for one reason or the other he's saying that he's been married for almost 3 years and
Yes, yeah.
he was able to make an application under the EU settlement scheme for this person to be able to be granted limited leave to remain. That means that, of course, the marriage was the main basis for which they were able to grant him that
Yes,
period of
yes,
5 years limited leave to remain.
yeah,
And now they are not getting on. They definitely want the marriage to be done away with, then of course he will have to make sure that he is able to satisfy the court, like I said, that he cannot find this person. And there are instances where the person may know where the person might be. So, for
yeah,
instance, they are not in the UK; they are in another country. Another interesting thing about these tracing companies is that they take the information that you give them and they try and trace. But if you can't even remember the date of birth, then it will make it a bit difficult in terms of
mm,
them tracing them in another country, because of course they will need that basic information such as the name and the date of birth to
yeah,
be able to do those searches in the country that they are from. So if it is the case that he can't get the date of birth for this person, maybe the lawyer that did the application may have those basic details, because you will need a copy of that person's passport to be able to make the application in the first place.
yeah,
So maybe retracing your steps back to when you were making the application, you may be able to get some information. Because of course, he also said that she's taking everything away with her. So if that is the case, then maybe going back to the person that helped with the application might help
mm-hmm.
in retrieving a copy of this person's passport so that you are able to get some basic information to be able to have the trace done. And of course, if the company knows that maybe this person is in a different country, then they can definitely go ahead and then trace that person in that country where they may be at as well. So it helps in terms of knowing the basic information or the basic details, and then letting the tracing companies also do their searches if they can as well.
Mm,
Yes.
mm. Okay. All right. I think that's our last question.
Okay.
And looking at the time, I think our time is almost up as well. So, in the absence of any more questions coming in, I would probably ask you to summarize what we've discussed so far, and if you don't mind, give your details for anybody who would like to get in touch with you for advice.
Okay, so just to summarize what I was talking about in terms of people making an application to the court for divorce if the other party cannot be found, it is important that you understand that yes, you can make for divorce in England and Wales, but it's also
Mm-hmm.
important to know that they also require that the other party has been served properly with the documents that you are sending to the court for divorce.
Yeah.
And so they are expecting that you will have those details to obviously give to the court so that they can also send copies to the other party. But if it's not possible, and if you're saying you can't find where this person is, then it's important to also make sure that you have done everything possible to have these contact details of this other party. But
Yes.
where it has been impossible to trace or find this person, then you will give the court your evidence to prove that you have done all that is possible to try and find this person, but it hasn't been fruitful. And then you can go ahead and apply to the court for what we call a decree nisi. So they
Mm.
will obviously receive your application to dispense with service where you have not been able to find the other party. And then once they've dispensed with service, they can go ahead and then give you decree nisi. So if that is the case, then of course you can then proceed to apply for a decree absolute after a period of 6 weeks and 1 day. Yes, of course, I was talking about divorce proceedings, but we don't just deal with divorce proceedings. We do look at other aspects of the law as well. And so that would include things like immigration or dispute resolution, or it could be that you have social issues and therefore you want us to assist in that area as well. If that is the case, then please do not hesitate to contact BWS solicitors on 0208 493 7340. So it's 0208 493 7340. We are usually open from Monday to Fridays from 9:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. And then, of course, if you are looking to come to our offices as well, we are in Seven Sisters. So we are on the fourth floor of Anna House, 214 to 218 Tottenham High Road. Our postcode is N154NP. So it's N154NP. My contact details out of office hours are 075 So 075
Thank you, Laura Eunice. On that note, we've come to the end of this program. If you joined us in the middle of this program, you can still watch, the beginning to the whole recording on BWF Solicitors Facebook and YouTube page. The recorded version are all there, so you've not really missed a lot. When you go there, you will get the full, recorded version, and you can, watch it. Laura Eunice left her details. Please, 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 if you are in such situation and you need advice, do not hesitate. Do not seek advice from unprofessionals. Contact Lawyer Eunice on the detail that she is provided, and she'll be very happy to assist and advise. On that note, we hope to see you same time next week. Take care of yourselves and stay safe. Remember to observe all the protocols. Put on your nose masks when you are out and about. Keep on sanitizing. I know it's a bit difficult, but let's all try and protect each other. Lawyer Eunice, thank you so much for your advice regarding this, variant. And I believe that we will all try and stay safe, keep ourselves safe, and hope to see you again next week. From Lawyer Eunice and myself, take care and bye-bye. See you.
See you.
Based in London, we are a dynamic award-winning firm specializing in a range of legal services, including family law, matrimonial law, immigration, dispute resolution, Ghanaian customary and family law. At BWF, our solicitors are pleased to offer high-quality legal representation at competitive rates. Our senior partner, Bernardo Wusu, has over 29 years' experience as a lawyer in the UK. BWF solicitors provide independent and practical legal assistance for all kinds of family matters, such as childcare, contested and uncontested divorce, and injunctions for domestic violence. Our childcare and family team appreciate the issues facing you in this difficult time, which is why we offer confidential advice delivered in a sensitive manner. Our senior partner is an accredited member of the Law Society Family Law Accreditation Panel, which guarantees expert representation in all family and matrimonial cases. Are you seeking advice on immigration-related matters? At BWF Solicitors, our immigration team are experts in dealing with everything from general immigration to complex immigration work permits, arranging student visas, as well as entry clearance visas, family visas, and appeals. Our senior partner is an accredited member of the Law Society Immigration Accreditation Panel, which guarantees expert representation. Our office is open from 9:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday to Friday, and on Saturdays by appointment only from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. We are located at 4th floor Anna House, 214 to 218 Tottenham High Road, London, N15 4NP, just a short walk from Seven Sisters Underground. Our senior partner, Bernardo Wusu, is also a qualified barrister and a member of the Ghana Bar Association. He has acted as an expert in court cases involving aspects of Ghanaian law. He has also advised local authorities, the official solicitor's office, and other solicitors on the intricacies of Ghanaian law, and is a regular contributor on the radio and TV on matters concerning Ghanaian law.